Hi, today I'm going to show you how you can merge data from different worksheets into a single one, and then it can be used for data refresh every time you have a new data on weekly or monthly basis. You can do it manually by copying and pasting, but it will be very tedious and boring, right? So you're going to do it with macro and a single button click, and then you will refresh automatically. There are a few steps over here, so just to make sure you can rewatch the video and then get the setup for you. All right, so firstly, there will be sheet number 1, 2, 3. These are data. The first one is original data set, right, which is column A to D. And then after that, sheet number 2, which is 1 to 5, right, and then sheet number 3, which is 6 to 10. So I will be adding sheet number 2 and 3 into the first Excel worksheet under each finishing row, right? So to do this, there will be a few functions needed. Firstly, is a macro. To access the macro, there will be a view over here, and then there will be a macro over this side, and then you can record a macro. The other way you can macro the macro is actually over here at the left corner, bottom corner. Looks like calendar icon. Click on this same feature window, gonna open up to record macro. All right, the second one you need is the developer tab. By default, you will not have this tab. To activate this tab, click on the ribbon, any area over here, right click, and then go to customize the ribbon. And then go to the developer here, tab over this side. I just check the developer, and you will get a developer tab over here. You'll need it for later. Alright, so let's record a macro over here. So to record a macro, go to view or macro record over here, or you can go to the record button over here at the bottom left corner. So I'm going to click on this, which is much easier. For macro name, you cannot have a space in between. So you just name anything you want, automate refresh. I think I'll go to data refresh, right? So this will be the name of macro, no spacing, and then shortcut key, you can put any keys you want. If you want to have a shift, click shift and then capital S if you want. But never put a small letter S with Control F, because this will override the saving function or any of the Microsoft Excel keys already there. So the best practice is to put capital letter. So capital letter can actually will basically not override the existing default shortcut keys. But if you can leave it there, just leave it blank is fine. So install a macro. This workbook means the macro is actually saved together with the workbook. If you send this workbook to your colleagues, they can actually run the macro at the same time. New workbook means they save this macro separately in another workbook. And then the last one is personal workbook, which is tied to your user account, which is on your PC. So I'm going to go with this workbook, right? And add a description, whichever you want. So click on OK. So as you click on OK, your macro will start running. So this is a stop button. Once you finish, you can click on the stop button. So let's do the automation now. So macro at the back is recording your actions to copy and paste. Right. So go to sheet number 2. I'm going to click on the first cell, right, of the data, and then click on Control Shift down, which is selecting the whole columns, and then Control Shift right, which is selecting the whole table. Click on copy, right, Control C, and then click on go to the sheet number 1, and then over here, click on the column header, the first row and the first column. This table can be anywhere in Excel. Just make sure you click on the corner area. All right, and then what you do over here, from here, you click on Control and down arrow. So that will goes to the last row of your first Excel, right? And then add this over here. Go to Developer App. Click on this Use Relative Reference. Just click once, all right? Then you click on down arrow, which goes to the second cell, the empty cell next to the next row, and then you off this one. Okay, so and then you just paste Control V. So you're pasting data here. All right. If you miss out the step, you can rewind the video to take a look again. Okay. Now we're going to go to sheet number 3 to paste it. So same thing. Go to sheet number 3. Click on the first the data, and then click on Control Shift down, Control Shift right. So select the entire table, whichever range the data you have at the moment of time. So click on Control C, which is copy, and then go to the sheet number 1. Do not paste over here, right? Go to the first one again, the corner, the header, right click on it, and then click on control down arrow, which comes to the bottom row. And then at this point, remember to go click on the use relative referencing, and then just down one more down arrow, which is go to next cell, and then turn off this again. All right. So and then Control V, you paste the whole thing. So you have already pasted sheet number 2 and sheet number 3, the entire data range sequentially, right? So after that, you can actually close, stop the macro. Once you stop the macro is done. It's already recorded. So let me try the macro. Delete everything, and then to access the macro, you can go to the view, and then the macro over here, and then view macro. And then let's run the macro. This is the one that you saved just now, macro automate refresh. Click on run, and then yep, everything is over here, right? From sheet number 2 and 3. Let's edit some on sheet number 2 and 3. Maybe put A here just to break up the whole thing, right? And then maybe this is put a B here, which will break up the whole thing to have referencing. Okay, let's go to sheet number 1. You already updated. You don't need to save any save any worksheet or anything. Go to macro, and then click on view macro, and then click on run. So you can see there will be A row over here, which is new data, and the B row over here, which is new data, right? This looks good. However, as you can see that you'll be always going to the macro view, macro, or maybe even developer tab. There will be macro over here. Always there will be multiple steps, right? So you don't do multiple steps just to run the macro. You can add a button. So in the developer tab, go to insert, and then click on this combo box, which is the button, the first one, and then you can draw a button over here. Right, once you draw a button, release the mouse, you can actually link the button with the macro you create. So just automate refresh, click on OK. So this is your button, right? Double click on this to actually rename it. So a bit right, so automate refresh. No, I'll just put data refresh. Alright, so then press enter. No, just click out of it. Okay, so data refresh is here. This is the button, or you can do a color, different colors of text if you want to. Over here, if you can, as you right click over on this button, there will be a shape format. Believe somewhere, or maybe at the home part. There will be let me see. Sorry, I just click on the button, so it updated. Okay, that works. Okay, so you can actually format control. Yeah, over here you can actually change the size, whether you bold it or not, or the color, right? So of the text, let's put it maybe blue, maybe green, right? Refresh and put it bold. Okay, all right. So there'll be a refresh. Make it more visible if you want to change the color. Okay, so I'm going to click on this, and then it will refresh, right? So let's say I have a new data over here, right? I will just say that over here. So what it will do is, okay. So see, as a new data coming from sheet number 2 and 3, you can actually no need to redo everything, right? You can add at the bottom. So you just click on one more time, and then add to the bottom. So A, B was the one, and then AZ, which is the second time of data reload, and then BZ, which is the second time of data reload, right? So you keep adding at the bottom every time you click on the data refresh, right? That's how you actually automate data refresh or combine different Excel sheet data with one button, right? Way much faster and save a lot of time. Okay, the one thing you cannot do is that on the first sheet you cannot delete off the original data, right? Because if you delete off the original data, the referencing is gone, and then you have error. Okay, so the first sheet of data, which is original data set, above your adding of a new line must be the same. Otherwise, it will throw error. Okay, so how do you know where's the macro? How do you view the macro? So you go to the macro view over here. Go to macro, and then view macro, and there will be edit. So once you click on edit, there will be new. This is basically a backend code, macro codes that's running. So you can explore on YouTube or how do you actually write it, but you don't need to write it because you're recording. At the backend, they are recording your actions, right? So these are the actions taken as you to achieve the macro and the buttons. But button is not part of macro anyway. Yeah, during the automation. So this is where you can see your codes under the module, right? One last thing before the end of the video, because this workbook is not saved yet. Macro enable workbook is saved in different file format. So over here, right? So the workbook extension is different when you have a macro, because macro is running a script at the back, right? So it will be XLSM. M stand for macro over here. So you need to save as this, otherwise the macro will not be working. So when you open, when your colleagues or yourself open the macro worksheet, there will be a notification say this is a security. There will be a security check. So just enable the security check, and then you are able to use the macro, right? So the file format must be in XLSM from macro Excel. I hope this video helps you a lot. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.